Yeah, as of right now, there has been no changes. So we're still status quo with where we're at right now. I did meet with both these guys. I don't know if I told you this or not. Sometimes I forget which groups I did.
How tricky has it been maneuvering people to different spots to kind of help make up for some of the injuries you have going on?
Well, we've been doing it for 3 years. I mean, I don't think it's ideal, but it's where we're at right now. So, I know Coach Moorhead's been talking with the offense all week long about, we got to find a way or make a way, and we're going to embrace it. We've dealt with this on defense at the linebacker position. We're dealing with it, right now on the offense with the offensive line. So it is what it is. But we've been dealing with these types of things for 3 years.
What types of things have you guys done with crowd noise? Assuming you're outside earlier?
No, we were in here all night long.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we were in here all night long. So, we had the music going earlier and fight songs and things like that. But we've been working on it all year long. It's not like something right now that we need to overemphasize because we've been working on it all year long.
What about your physical challenges as the season goes on? Less sleep, not feeling well. How tough is that on the coaching staff and you?
I feel great. I feel great. We try when we can to make adjustments to the schedule when I think the staff is tired or I think we're a little bit ahead of the schedule. Every once in a while we'll go 8 o'clock staff meeting instead of 7 a.m. staff meeting. Things like that. Try to do a good job with nutrition. We're fortunate because they bring meals over for training table for us while we're watching film every single night. They used to bring dessert. Coaches got pissed off at me 2 years ago because I canceled the dessert. Probably should, that's for me because I have no willpower. If it's sitting there, I'll eat until I throw up. So little things like that. I wear a weighted vest every single day at practice to try to get a little sneaky workout in. But a lot of the coaches, to be honest with you, get a workout in every day. Ricky Ronnie goes early in the morning. Brent Pye and Brent Pye goes at lunchtime. He gets on the treadmill. Sean Spencer, as you can imagine, does curls for about an hour. But guys do a pretty good job of that, and for the most part, we got pretty good eating habits, which helps.
Coach, this is going to be an out there question, but I remember you mentioning maybe last year that you majored in psychology. So I just want to ask you, does that have any benefit to interacting with all the different people you interact with as a head coach? Do you feel any benefit from having that degree?
I would probably assume that most people here, I bet you a lot of people here don't necessarily have degrees in journalism or whatever it may be, but you kind of fall into that. You do, Ben?
I don't.
Oh, you don't, right?
He's got a psychology degree.
Yeah. So I guess probably more than anything is just my curiosity in people and in behaviors and what makes people tick and how people think. That probably helps in this job and being able to relate to so many different people. I think also my personal background, being biracial, all these different things. I think I'm able to relate to a lot of different people, a lot of different backgrounds. I think that's helpful. So I don't know if I necessarily am thinking about my psychology training from Psychology 101, 25 years ago. But I do think my interest in those types of things and reading books and talking to people, and I think it probably does help just because you got so many different personalities and so many people from different backgrounds. All those things I think help.
James, what was the biggest thing you noticed from film from the Indiana game with receivers getting in the secondary and the deep balls? Because that hadn't happened that often all year, and what's the biggest thing you've done this week to try and correct it?
Okay. I will answer your question. I prefer to talk about Rutgers, or prefer to talk about that on Tuesday, but I think Indiana really had kind of done that against everybody. We actually felt like at corner and at wide receiver, Indiana was pretty skilled on the offensive line as well. The one play, they got us on tempo. We didn't get the call in. We were getting the call in as the ball was snapped. The next thing you know, the guy's screaming up the seam at us. So the other thing is you look at Indiana, they take a lot of shots. We went into the game saying they're going to take a bunch of shots down the field, and I think it's no different than anybody else. If you're willing to invest, you're going to get some return on your investment at some point. So, combination of those things. But I think the tempo had a factor in it, and I think their quarterback I thought played really well. throws the ball extremely well, and I think they're pretty skilled at wide receiver. But they had kind of done that against everybody, so we had anticipated that a little bit.
In terms of this year, that preparing for top 25 teams to become the top 10 team, I think it was like for Michigan or something. Now that you guys have gone from the top 25 team to a top 10, what do you think's been the difference with you guys in that stretch of 4 or 5 years?
I think actually what I was just talking about, what I said was I think there's in my opinion there's distinct differences between being in the top 25 and being a top 5. In my history, the difference between a top 5 team and a 15 through 25 team, that gap is dramatic. So that's kind of what I was talking about before, and our respect for Michigan, and they were in that category when we played them.
But now that you guys have kind of been there for a few weeks now, the upper echelon, what do you think's changed with you guys from going, into the rankings to now?
Yeah, again, I'm not concerned about rankings or polls or playoffs. I'm concerned about Rutgers and getting ready for that game. That would be a question for other people. Again, we just worry about Rutgers. We're worried about getting better ourselves.
James, you mentioned Rutgers' offense is super multiple. Handling that defensively, is it a matter of simplifying when you want to stick these X, Y, and keys, or do you want to install more checks to kind of account for all the different looks?
Yeah, I don't think the answer is more. I think right now I think our guys are playing fast and they're playing aggressive on defense, and when you start trying to do more, you're going to have them thinking too much, especially if you play a team that does a lot. Typically, the old coaching rule is you do less, and just make sure you're sound. That's something I think is important for us. They do a lot of different things in terms of empty formation into the sideline, unbalanced, things like that. So yeah, we want to be sound. We want to have our guys aggressive. We want to have a plan that gives our guys a chance to be successful. But we don't want to get into the check game, especially because that's where the tempo can factor in as well.
James, maybe I've seen something out there, but did anyone change numbers today over this week?
Just ask me what
Number
you think.
70. Who's number 70?
On the varsity or on the scout team?
Varsity.
Chris, I don't know.
Okay. Well.
Oh, it was Michael Mennett? Okay, yeah. I guess it was Michael Mennett. I didn't know. I don't know. We didn't change his number. I don't know if that's because he bounced back and forth from scout team to varsity, or I didn't know he was in 70.
I just thought maybe he was wearing that out of respect or curious.
No, to be honest, I didn't even know it until you said it. I don't know. Do you know anything about that, Chris? Yeah, I don't. I think studying the film and being aware of him. He's been a very productive player there for multiple years. He's big, strong, he's physical. Obviously, we got some changes up front. He's the guy that we've identified. We go in each week. I think I've told you guys this before. We kind of identify guys on offense and defense that we see as game wreckers. The other guy is Audric, the half brother of who played here. Those two guys have been very, very productive players for us, and we try to do that. We identify guys each week, guys that are game wreckers that we need to be aware of and make sure that they don't have a significant impact in the game. Try to limit what they do a little bit. But he's big, strong, he's physical. You better have your hands inside. You better have leverage. You better use your technique because he can overpower you. There's no doubt about it.
In terms of depth, attack, where does Sterling fall in those rankings? And how's it been in practice this week?
Yeah, he's been good. Sterling is a skilled player. There's still some things that the light needs to go on for him, but I met with him last week about I'd make the argument he's in the 1%, including the NFL in terms of body type, athleticism, strength. Really he's got a lot of things you're looking for. He just needs for the game to slow down for him and needs to be a little bit more physical, a little bit more aggressive. But he's done a nice job this week. I still think those other guys are ahead of him, very similar to what the depth chart showed that we put out earlier in the week. But he's done a nice job. I think right now probably Brosnan would go in the game before he would at this point. Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.